There are bad writers. There are untalented writers. There are writers that maybe should never have hit publish on that 2011 manuscript you found on your old MacBook. And then there's Morgan Rice, a name that haunts the Kindle store like the ghost of fantasy cliches past. She has dozens of books, and I mean dozens. And I don't say that to be impressed. I say that because, well, it feels like a threat at this point. If you've ever downloaded one of her free titles, especially in the early days of Kindle, you already know who I'm talking about. Morgan Rice, and I use the term writer here with the same sincerity as calling a frozen gas station hamburger cuisine, produces books that are barely stitched together ideas. Her work reads like someone tried to speedrun the hero's journey while blindfolded and forgetting to take their Adderall. It's content that exists not to be read, but to exist. Book for the algorithm, books for the charts, not for readers. So let's get into it. Let's get very oddly specific on this weird rabbit hole I went down. Let's talk about one of the most mysterious bestsellers, air quotes, in digital publishing, Morgan Rice. Welcome to this episode of The Bald Book Geek. Let's just get into it and let's talk about this stuff. I'm Darth James, and let's have some fun. Let's be real. The writing is bad, full stop. Her books are plagued with grammar and spelling errors that would make a middle school English teacher cry. And I'm not talking the occasional typo. I'm talking whole paragraphs that read like someone fed Game of Thrones into Google Translate twice, then back to English and said print it. We're talking basics mistakes, there, and there, used interchangeably like some chaotic word soup. And the thing is, this isn't a one-off, it's everywhere. If you told me her editor was a Magic 8 Ball, I'd believe you. And with the supposed money these books make, I think she could afford an actual proofreader, not a Fiverr intern who moonlights as a crypto trader. Every conversation in Morgan Rice's books is either people repeating the same plot line, slightly differently worded, or full-blown shouting matches with no emotional build-up. You'll see, he shouted, she screamed, he exclaimed, she yelled, every single tag except he said. It's like she's allergic to subtlety. The emotional range goes from 0 to soap opera at 2 p.m. and it never stops. There's no nuance, it's just noise. Nobody in real life talks like this. Nobody in fiction talks like this. But in Morgan Rice novels, it's just Tuesday. Okay, her characters are walking contradictions. Well, the best description I've ever heard of them actually came from a friend of mine. Moral weather vanes spinning wildly in the wind. 1 minute they're noble warriors, next minute they're betraying their best friend for no reason. Relationships and anything collapses within paragraphs. Emotional arcs appear, wave hello, and then vanish like a magical rabbit in a hat. It's like someone's writing on shuffle mode. No motivation, no internal logic, just pure chaos. These characters don't grow, they glitch. And then you have the pacing. It's all gas, no brakes, but in the worst way possible. Scenes appear, explode, and vanish before you can even care. Conflicts resolved in half a paragraph. And a character dies, and before you can process it, we're already in the New Kingdom fighting a new dragon. It's like someone took the phrase modern readers hooked and interpreted it as don't give them a chance to blink. The irony, you stop reading because nothing means anything when everything happens instantly. Okay, this isn't nitpicking, this is full-on narrative whiplash. Characters die, and then they show up chapters later like nothing happened. Names change mid-book. Prophecies disappear, whole subplots just evaporate, if you can call them that to start with. It's like reading 3 half-finished drafts that get shuffled together after a power outage. And I wish I was exaggerating. And then there's the Amazon reviews. The reviews fascinate me. Thousands of glowing 5-star reviews with accounts with no, and this is Goodreads as well and other places, with no profile pictures and username like booklover821963, reviews that read like spam emails written by teenagers pretending to be an adult. This book is amazing, better than J.K. Rowling and Tolkien combined. Couldn't stop by this. You see this sea of robotic love letters, while negative reviews, the ones actually ripping the books apart, talking about the writing and the characters, get buried faster than comments faster than comments that contain common sense on YouTube. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying anything illegal is happening for legal reasons, but the vibe is off, deeply off. The gap between how these books read and how they're reviewed is suspiciously wide. Like Grand Canyon. Well, 10 Grand Canyons in a row. Now here's where things get a little weird. There's almost no verified photo of Morgan Rice. A handful exist that look like they were taken on a 2004 webcam during a power cut. There are interviews, but they're all roughly the same kind of information. There's no panels, no podcast appearances, no video clips, nothing. In 2025, most authors can't sell 10 copies without being on 3 social platforms, a TikTok page and a podcast about their cat, and yet Morgan Rice is a total ghost. She's released more books a year than Stephen King, Brandon Sanderson, and James Patterson combined, but somehow leaves no trace. And people have started noticing. There's a growing theory whispered around indie circles that Morgan Rice isn't one person at all. She's a collective, a team of ghostwriters churning out market-optimized genre fiction under a single brand name. It makes sense. Inconsistent writing styles, the ridiculous publishing speed, and the lack of personal presence online. Some even speculate that the newer entries in a catalogue show signs of AI assistance. You know, that weird robotic rhythm and copy and paste kind of vibe that ChatGPT gets, maybe after a bottle of wine. The truth is, nobody knows, and that's the problem, because if Morgan Rice isn't a person, she's a product. A brand built for volume, not voice. Some people say, who cares? Let people enjoy what they want, and fair, but it goes deeper, because behind the joke and just this whole weird situation is something kind of sad. There are real indie writers and trade published writers, people who pour everything into one book a year. They hire editors, decent cover designers, build slow and steady, and they can't compete because the algorithm rewards quantity over quality. Morgan Rice isn't just a bad writer, she's a symptom of a bigger problem. The point where publishing stopped being about storytelling and became about content, where books no longer written to be read, just uploaded. Look, if you've read Morgan Rice and genuinely love it, great. Taste is personal, no judgment here. Okay, mild judgment. But come on, the red flags are neon. If Morgan Rice is real, she's running one of the most secretive, oddly efficient literary operations on Earth. If she's not, then what we're looking at is something even wilder. Maybe an AI-driven thing, a ghostwriter, algorithm hacking Frankenstein that Amazon keeps calling a bestseller. Either way, it's worth talking about, because behind all the glittery vampires and dragon-riding chosen ones, something doesn't add up. And if you've watched this, or if you're a content team, or you're an AI bot, or your hive mind is watching, hi, please blink twice to confirm that you're real. Or better yet, come on a podcast, do an interview that isn't the same copy and pasted answers. Tell us how you're writing more books than Stephen King, Brandon Sanderson, and James Patterson combined. We're all ears. Like I said, there's a lot of conspiracies behind this kind of thing, and I mean that. And a lot of indie writers talk about her, or if she is a her, whatever Morgan Rice is. And I would love to know, like, this has been a bit of a pet project for years. And when you think about it, it just is a worrying sign, because Morgan Rice was one of those writers I fell for when I first discovered Kindle. So that's it. My weird little hyperfixation of trying to work out what or who Morgan Rice is. If you like this kind of content and want more, remember to like, subscribe, and tell me what you think in the comments below. Hit that little bell icon, maybe hit the hype button. And if you want to support this weird little corner of the internet, check out Substack, Patreon, and memberships. And tell me, what do you think? Because I'm genuinely curious. Morgan Rice, the unstoppable publishing machine.